This is WBSM On Demand.
Good morning. Good morning. Welcome back to the program. I'm Chris McCarthy. Do appreciate you folks joining me. 508-996-0500 so I can get on the program. So we had a great guest with Sean Oliver, right? He's always willing to come in, and I appreciate that about Sean. So I brought up the fact that Shane Burgo is seeking the city council presidency. I find that to be amazing, really, because he is the architect of some of the worst ideas. And in voting for him for the city council presidency, you're basically endorsing Shane Burgo's ideas. By that, I mean the tent city. The tent city in Ward 1 is Shane Burgo's baby. That's his idea, and he's never given that up. We asked him when he came in, look, I personally like Shane. I like a lot of people who I wouldn't put in charge of the city, right? And I think the other members of the city council have to think very seriously before they endorse the idea of tent cities, right? Because a vote for Shane Burgo for president is a vote for the Capitol Theater. He was a very enthusiastic supporter of the Capitol Theater, and he's a super endorsement of tent cities. And I also think it would be a major rift between the mayor's office and the city council, because Shane Burgo wants to do the bidding of the nonprofits and the homeless industrial complex, right? The illegal immigrant complex, industrial complex. That is all Shane Burgo's constituency. That's his whole campaign. He's the front man for the Coalition for Social Justice, which then of themselves are a front group. Right. So I do think that everybody has to reach out to their city councilor and tell them, look, I'm watching. I want you to pick a new city council president if Naomi doesn't want it, right? And it's a very tough hurdle for Naomi to, if she wanted it again. I don't think she even does, but if she did, it requires an 8 votes as opposed to 6. So it's likely going to have to be a new city council president. So it's an internal vote. But if I live in the city, I would communicate my opinion to my city councils, particularly Ian Abreu, Brian Gomes. Leo Choquette, I think, knows what you people want from him anyway, but you're going to see him anyway because he's regularly out there, right? Sean, maybe you can draft him to be city council president. I don't know. 508-996-0500 so you can get on the program. Good morning. Thanks for holding.
Good morning, Chris.
How are you?
I'm okay. I just caught your last guest, some of it, the counselor?
Yes, Sean Oliver.
Yeah, you're talking about the New Bedford's vagrant problems. I'm not saying New Bedford. I'm not saying it's good or bad with so many resources that they give in these vagrants, because they do come in. If you have all these resources for them, they're going to come in.
Yes.
They're going to draw them in. But I used to wonder about Newport, because I used to frequent Newport in the summer a lot. You don't see that problem there. I used to think, well, maybe they have a tougher police department. Maybe they just, maybe they got cold hearts. Maybe New Bedford.
No, they have a big system in Newport. I know that because a guy who I had a school teacher who's a friend of mine, Mr. Gorman, Mark Gorman. He and his wife they raise a lot of money for the local shelter down there. He has a band. They perform. I've had him on here as a guest. They are very accommodating down in Newport. So it's not that. I agree with you, though.
Well, one summer I was down, I guess it was the West Beach, sitting around the warming house there in the sun with my wife. And there was 2 vagrants there splitting a 6-pack at 10 o'clock in the morning.
Why not, right?
And they were talking about, they were talking about the food pantry, I guess, where they're going to get food. Mm-hmm. And they were talking about it like it was Thanksgiving dinner. It was so good. And they couldn't wait for, 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock. And that's what's happening. I mean, why is New Bedford get the bigger hearts? Why other communities? Is this forever have all these programs like that for them?
Well, there are programs certainly in Fall River, but I would say this: it is what you have to be concerned. What you have to be concerned about is, for instance, that the advocates in other cities who look around and say, we don't have the resources here, but we can send our people to another community that does. You don't want to be that other community. So a couple of years ago, there was a selectman down the Cape, said in an open meeting, that buy him a bus ticket, send him to New Bedford. They have all the resources up there. So you got to worry about other elected officials and other advocates within your community basically shipping them down here because it goes on.
Well, that's what's happening.
Oh, yeah.
So there is other communities that are more richer than us, but it seems like we're just the good-hearted, big-hearted people. I often wonder why we're so big-hearted.
Well, here's the thing. They don't even live in your community. They work doing this kind of work in your community. In other words, you've got people who live in Acushnet who are part of the illegal alien industrial complex. You have people who live in Dartmouth who are part of the homeless industrial complex. They just use New Bedford as a way, as an office, basically as a way to make a living off these social problems. That's what's happening.
So we're just a dumping ground. That's
well,
all.
yeah, and not only that, you have people who make a living off of the city of New Bedford by trying to manage all the social problems. But they're not doing it out of the goodness of their heart. They're doing it because they're getting a paycheck out of it.
Yeah.
And the city leadership goes along with it. It's weird.
Yeah. Well, being one resident of New Bedford all my life, I mean, I'm tired of it. I mean, I just don't like it.
No, I get it.
Let some other communities have some responsible too. Why do we have to always be the...
Well, elections have consequences, my friend. I understand what you're saying. Thank you for the call. Let me see here. Good morning. Thanks for holding.
Hey, good morning, Chris.
What's happening?
Just a question for you. How big of a tent, not that I agree with it, but how many people is he trying to put in this tent city?
So here's the thing. I think they will make it big enough, and if they need more, they'll put more tents up. I don't think he has any earthly idea. First of all, Shane Burgo is not a big planner type guy, as far as I can tell. I think he has no idea. He is just the political movement, but he's the face of a much larger political movement. And he's got the law by being a city council member, right? So he's just trying to change regulations. But he really does. He's being told what to do by somebody else.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I mean, I know him personally, and he's, he seems like a good-hearted, good-spirited person, which is fine. But, don't we have places in New Bedford, the old Hallmark nursing home? I mean, couldn't we do something with that? I mean, you got the old school in Taylor School on Brock Avenue. I mean, don't we have facilities out there that they can do something like that instead of it being outside? And because there's always going to be issues. There's going to be things that happen in encampments like that, I think. Anyway. Oh,
I agree with you. No, I don't think it's a good idea at all. No,
because, it just gets, it turns into a bad environment, I think, at some point. You know what I mean?
Look at Mass and Cass. It turned into an absolute disaster.
Yeah, and I don't... Well, like I said a few years back, they allowed the floodgates to come through. We're not even thinking about all the bad stuff it was going to cost. It was the wrong thing to do. But
it was the wrong thing
now
to do.
we got to deal with it now, right?
Absolutely, my friend. Thanks for the call, as always. 508-996-05 so I can get on the program. Folks, Good morning. Thanks for holding.
Hey, Chris, how you doing?
I'm doing well, my friend. How are you?
I had to switch phones because that other phone was dying.
I appreciate that.
Sorry. Yesterday was Veterans Day, right? And
Yes.
there's all this talk about, encampment cities and, do you think Shane Burgo, and I'll put this out, I'm sure someone's listening in his department, does he know how many veterans are homeless in New Bedford? I mean, Democrats are great at creating classes and groups of people. How about we understand what the group of veterans is? Because Tunnels to Towers has taken 82,000 veterans off the streets in the United States. So they obviously have a program and money that can do the work. So there's a free program, so to speak. You just have to reach out and call them.
Right.
And so, that's a resource. So I'm wondering, if Shane Burgo is just like trying to group people together to say, hey, we've accomplished a tent city, or is he really trying to solve the problem? And if so, let's find out how many veterans are on the street in New Bedford while they're doing their surveys. And at that point, go to Tunnels to Towers and tell those guys, look, we've got X amount of veterans that need help. They have all sorts of resources and manpower, and let's get at least that group of people off the street,
I agree with you. Here's the thing. So I don't think this is really about helping people as much as it is about creating jobs for people that are unemployable. In other words, I think that they don't want to bring in another very competent group like Tunnels for Towers, because Tunnels for Towers wouldn't give jobs to people from the Coalition for Social Justice and these other groups. That's what this is all about. This is about. You get it, right? I
agree with you. I know it's trying to create the lifelong tent city.
Right.
They have some 20-year-old tent cities in California.
Right. And you need an executive director and a couple of deputy directors, and you need different food providers, all of that. And it begins to become an enormous payroll, and that's really what they're looking for.
No question. It's the people who went to college, doing all these low quality studies, and they come out and they need to get employed, and they're trying to create ways to get employed. I totally get it.
And they all want $100,000 a year jobs, doing nothing, working 30 hours a week. It's crazy.
The paper pushers that we always heard about.
Right.
Yeah, I would like to see that, them solving problems is my issue. So I think they got a mandate from, the votes across the United States that we need to solve problems. So going to start shining light on some of these programs. So anyway.
No, thanks for the call, my friend, and thanks for the information. Yeah, Tunnels for Towers does great work. And look, one of the things there's a lot of things I like about the Mayor Mitchell, right? One of them is that he doesn't need the job, right? So he can do it, and he's not trying to feather his nest and create new agencies and stuff like that where he can take a jump to, right? And that's the good. No, it's great about Scott Lang too, right? He had his own law firm and all of that, and so I think that I think that John Mitchell generally wants to help people, but he doesn't want. He knows he can't solve the world's problem. He doesn't want to import the world's problems, right, and try to solve them. That's an impossibility. You know what's not impossible? Getting your windshield fixed, folks. I know you're tired of looking at that crack in your windshield, so call Citywide Glass and have it repaired in no time. Their mobile service means that Citywide Glass will send a tech right to your car at your home or at your work, repair it on site. Now, with responsive crews all over South Coast, your glass repair is just a phone call away. Citywide Glass can also fix mirrors, door windows, truck sliders, sunroofs, and more. Contact Citywide Glass in Fall River or Dartmouth for your glass repairs, or visit citywideglass.net. All insurance is accepted. Folks, as the weather gets colder, that glass crack is going to expand. It's going to get worse. So don't wait. It's a danger to you and your family. Call Citywide Glass. All insurance accepted. Take care of it immediately. We'll be right back. If you're on hold, stay there. We'll be right back. 500 city issues, local issues, and state, and of course the national stuff. Donald Trump is making his appointments very interesting now. Good morning. Thanks for holding.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hello?
You're on the air.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
This is the way it should work. When you go into the encampment, where are you from? You're from Fall River, go back to Fall River. Where are you from? You're from over the border, you got to go back over the border. Let me tell you something. I heard the mayor the other day. He gave a long story about the homeless, but what is he going to do? I want a doer. This is the problem. These politicians, they should have term limits on them, like maybe 2 4-year terms, and that's it. This is crap. All the politicians don't want to do anything. You understand?
I understand that you're saying that, but do you think term limits would make it better? Do you think bringing in somebody or getting rid of, if you like what a guy is doing, why would you want to get rid of him?
Well, first of all, there's nobody good running for mayor. I mean, you got to have somebody in intelligence in there, and I don't want to contradict myself. He's no dummy, but the point is, he's in a Democratic. He's a Democrat.
Oh, he's a big time Democrat.
And Democrats love to spend money. Back in the late '60s, early '70s, the city of New Bedford got a lot of federally funded money, and politicians went crazy.
You did.
In other words, they invested in programs, not jobs for the future. You understand what I'm trying to say?
No, I do. I get it, yeah.
Take a look at the roads. Come on. That's not the way you do the roads. You do it maybe a quarter of a mile at a time. What are you going to do? Drains, electrical, and all that. Then you blacktop it, and then you go on to another road. This city looks like hell. Would you agree?
No, I think that they have, over the years, because they had to fix the utilities and things like that. So, but it's how do I put it? You're never going to get it pristine and then stop using it. It's an ongoing project.
Well, in theory, that's the way I think it should be done. But you can't blame everything on this guy. But a lot of the politicians in the past hasn't done their fair share.
No, I think.
You know what I mean?
No, believe me, I totally do. Thanks for the call, my friend. I would say that you have. Look, having a city of over 100,000 people is a big management issue. You got to manage them. And you've lost a lot of your tax base. So, used to be, look, there's an ongoing discussion in Boston, right, about changing the way they do taxes up there. The mayor of Boston, Mayor Wu, she needs more money, or she says she needs more money. And she doesn't want to have the voters' taxes go up, right? So she wants to go up on the industry. Now, they need an act of the legislature to do that. I would tell you that in New Bedford, you don't even have that luxury anymore. You don't have the industrial base. All the industrial jobs and the big industry, you've lost it in New Bedford. So the mayor has to, if they want to spend money, they either got to get it from the homeowners, right? Because there's less industry than there ever was. So I understand what the mayor is trying to do, and I applaud it by bringing more modern industry into the city of New Bedford. And that's your only hope. It really is. 508-996-0500. Good morning. Thanks for holding.
Hi.
Hi.
Did you see what Maura Healey is doing today?
Well, I don't know what she's doing today. What is it, sir?
She wants 425 votes by tonight to kind of push against Trump, to get him out, to do whatever. I'm not a phone person, so if you could look it up, that would be cool. But my friends sent it to me, and they sent it to me while I was working, which wasn't good because I was upset. It's something Maura Healey is doing. She's the next one to go. She really is. How can we have somebody we love now, and she's just trying to destroy him?
So your phone is killing me. I don't know about this. I'm going to look at it, but like you got it at work, I'm at work now, so it'll be limited in what I can figure out about what Maura Healey is doing today. I do know that she is saying she's not going to let the state police be involved in the deportation of criminal aliens. It's amazing. Folks, this is where 9/11 jumped off from, right? They took a plane out of Logan Airport on a one-way trip to the Capitol and New York City. It all started here, and that was due to a poor immigration system. So I was talking about it yesterday. Veterans Day, we only have Veterans Day because we elect bad politicians who make bad policy decisions. 508-996-0500. Good morning. Thanks for holding.
Good morning.
Hey.
Yes, I was just listening to one of the callers talking about the roads. I know it's kind of sidetracking, but I own a house on Ash Street, and I was told one of the reasons why they were not going to do my street is because it had railroad ties under it. I don't know if that's true, but I do know that I'm seeing the city being torn up through the whole city, and all I see is patches. I could be wrong, but I find it hard to believe that they're going to go from one end of New Bedford to the other to Fix County. County is torn apart everywhere. It's really, really bad. My taxes keep going up, but I don't see nothing for my money. You know?
Yeah. So I don't know about the railroad ties under Ash Street. I don't know. I would have no idea how to figure out. Who told you that? If you remember.
Well, I can see them. In some areas, you can see them. And I remember one of the workers, which I'm assuming, I don't know if that's true or not, but I do know they worked around my street, and my Ash Street between Union and Arnold is really, really bad. It's really, it needs besides the whole city. I'm not special.
Right. No, I get that.
My taxes are going up. Let me see it somewhere in the city, and I'm not seeing that. And I'm not seeing it a lot either. So, I just wanted to throw that out there.
No, I appreciate that. Thank you, my friend, as always. I appreciate that. I appreciate you calling. Don't be a stranger. It is always, look, politics is a battle for resources. Now, if you live in a neighborhood where you and your neighbors don't vote, I don't think that's the case there. But if you live in a neighborhood where you and your neighbors don't vote, don't be surprised if the politicians don't pay as much attention to you. But if you live in an area like Ward 1, where they do vote, Ward 5, they do vote. Actually, that gentleman is in Ward 5 now that I think about it. 508-996-0500. The president, the new President-elect Donald Trump, he is bringing in his cabinet, right? So who did we see yesterday? Tom Homan. Tom Homan is a no-nonsense guy. Good friend of Tom Hodgson's. I can't tell you how many times I've been in the car with Tom Hodgson, and Tom Homan's been on the phone calling him. He's been they're talking on the phone, right? And they have a very close connection. So I would say that the last thing New Bedford wants to do is to be the center of the rebellion, right? Don't build a Death Star for illegal aliens. The center of the rebellion. Good morning. Thanks for holding.
Yeah, how you doing? Let me just say I'm sick and tired of, but that guy's right. The amount of taxes that we're paying here, it's ridiculous. When we have to put up with this, tolerate this crap, we're going to get all the people from other cities coming here, out of state, and we're going to put up and take care of them because they don't want to deal with their own problems.
Right.
It's ridiculous.
Well,
and then Atlanta Hughes is telling us that we got to take these people and they got to go to a safe space. What about all of us who are paying a lot of property taxes and water and sewer? We have a safe zone to run to.
You don't.
And we're gonna supposed to tolerate a tent city while she lives in a cushion with a monkeys. Give me a break.
Thanks for the call, my friend. Look, I would be concerned about. Well, here's the first thing: got to control what you can control, right? Your city council is going to be electing a new president. Now, I've liked Naomi. Naomi's great, and she's not running again for president. Now, this is not a vote you can participate in, but you have your representatives. So guys like Leo Choquette, Sean Oliver, Ian Abreu, these people who are very responsive to the public, I think, they need to be communicated with. And I think if they vote for Shane Burgo, who is a very nice guy, right? Very nice guy. But I don't think he's correct on the issues. And the issue he really cares about is building a tent city. That is really what he wants to do. Because I asked him about it. I mean, it's shocking to me that he would think that's a good idea. And the other part is that John Mitchell is the mayor. Quite frankly, he's the mayor for as long as he wants it, right? So nobody's going to challenge the mayor. I don't believe they are anyway. And the mayor is correctly opposed to a tent city. So if you elect a city council president who wants a tent city, and therefore you've endorsed as a city councilor the idea of a tent city, right? You can't vote for Shane Burgo without recognizing that that's an endorsement of his policies, right? He wants a tent city. So I think that putting in a city council president who has the exact opposite values of the mayor when it comes to how do we solve or manage, really, you don't solve it, but how do we manage a percentage of the population that is homeless? I mean, if you build a big daycare center for them, don't be surprised when other people send them there, right? And next thing you know, you've got a huge base of homeless people living in your city who are no longer homeless because they live in a tent city. And by the way, once you establish a location like that, they're going to use it as an address and register to vote. So you property owners, right, in the city of New Bedford who have 1, 2, maybe 3 votes in your house, if you have an adult kid, you're going to be totally overwhelmed by, particularly you folks in Ward 1, which is where they want to put it, having, I don't know, a location that has maybe 400 or 500 votes because it's a homeless encampment and they live there now and they live in your ward and they have just as much of a right to vote as you do, and they'll be voting on all city matters. I just think it's a disaster, a real big disaster. You want to take a break from seriousness of life? The New England Patriots, they just got their 3rd win right against the Chicago Bears last Sunday. Well, this week, they're going to host the LA Rams. It's another week, another 50-50 team, really. Another chance for the Pats to get a win. Patriots against the Rams. Kickoff is 1 p.m. Pregame on WBSM begins at 10 a.m. The New England Patriots all season long right here on WBSM. Stick around. We'll take a break. If you want to get on the hold, you can. It's 508-996-05. I got 2 open phone lines right now, so it's a good time to get in. Kind of open phones. If it's on your mind, I'd love to hear about it. Take a break. We'll be right back. Zeitarian Theater one time. That'll be a couple more years probably before they come back. But anyway, that's one of the great things about the Zeitarian Theater. They brought that group to the city of New Bedford. Good morning. Thanks for holding.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing well, my friend. How are you?
Yeah, pretty good. Hey, I have a couple things I wanted to touch on.
Sure.
I thought the national election was a mandate for change.
I agree.
And the liberal Democrats don't get it. They never will. The charge to show socialism was stopped, and now they're mad.
Yes.
But the fake news, fake print, social media, everybody that supports them, they take the hit too, because their message just is dead in the water. And if they can't figure it out, they're going to keep losing. The other thing with the city, there has to be change in the city. With the mayor, I like John. He's a nice guy, John Mitchell.
Yes.
But he's been there a while. No taxes. Taxes have just risen under him. He's tried different things, but we haven't got industry in here. I think it's time for change. As far as Laura Healy goes, she's got to go. The state needs change. We need somebody in that office that thinks about the taxpayers and the voters and the people that care about their towns and cities. I wanted to ask you one question, Chris. Have you ever asked Tom Hodgson if he would be interested in running for mayor?
Well, he lives in Dartmouth.
Okay.
I don't think he would be. He was a city councilor for a number of years in the city. I would say that if I had my if I could move Tom around the chessboard, I would make him the governor. I think he'd do a hell of a job as our governor, because I think our current governor, as you pointed out, is basically like a college student who likes, talking about issues and, but I don't think she's really good at being in power or exercising the responsibilities of power. I think she's more like an activist than she is a governor or even an attorney general.
Well, the thing is this, she wants there's a couple of governors out there that, come out and said they're going to go against Trump, fight him, and everything. And, Trump's putting together a good cabinet. And the gentleman that you're talking about that he brought on for the border was saying
Tom
Homan, he said that, they won't get their funding for sanctuary cities.
Right.
If they don't. And so that's just going to be another hit that our state will take. And was she going to use taxpayer dollars to try to take care of these problems? There's got to be some common sense here in Mass. I just look across the board at what's being elected. I was glad to see the Trump support in this area, and kind of this divisive, a split from everybody voting Democrat,
right?
Because we need help, and even on the city council, there were 4 members that really fought the budget out of the whole council. And some of them on the day of the budget battle, he didn't show up to vote. I mean, these are critical times.
You're talking about Ian Aber didn't show up to vote.
Right. And a lot of people, they're, things keep going the way they're going. They have no choice but to sell their homes, and, they're going to leave the city because there's just not too much room left when you look at cable rates, utility rates, insurances, and everything else that is on the table. And unless these guys in politics around here look at that and say, hey, we got to start taking care of the homeowners, small businesses, and the people, and, stop the reckless spending, we're in trouble. So, but that was my take. I just wondered about Tom. I always liked him. He was a good sheriff, and I always wish him the best always. And but you got a great show. I'll let you go. And,
thank you. I appreciate it.
Have a nice day.
You too, my friend. Thank you. 508-996. Look, Tom Hodgson, I think, would be a great governor for the state of Massachusetts. Now, he's got a lot of things he likes doing with his life now. Got a great wife, and they've got great grandkids and all of that stuff. And I think Tom Hodgson has given a lot to the country, of his time, and time is the most valuable thing we have. And again, there's less of it every day, right? So if I had my way, I would make Tom the governor, but that's not how it works, Tom is a very serious guy. He's got a great heart. He's been a tremendous friend to me and a tremendous friend to many of you, and I know you know that. So I would make Tom the governor tomorrow. Here's the thing. I'm not sure the people of Massachusetts deserve Tom Hodgson, to be honest with you, right? I'm serious about that. I think that the Tom could do a lot of things, including being governor, but I don't think I don't know. But I think that he would be great in the Trump administration. A lot of things Tom could do, but I do recognize we could use him around here as well. Anyway, good morning. You're on the air. Just call back. Ray, I'm sorry about that. I dumped your call by accident. I think that Tom could do a lot of stuff. I really do. I think governor would be perfect for Tom. I think that he would be able to work with the Trump administration, which is important. You know, Massachusetts gets a lot of supplies, a lot of surplus money from the federal government. And I think we would be better off having a partnership of some sort with the state government and the federal government, right? Not a political war. That's just ridiculous. It's not good for business. It's just not. Good morning. Thanks for holding.
Hey, Chris. What's going on?
You tell me.
To be honest with you, I don't think the Trump administration will actually take auctions for anything, to be honest with you. And that's because I believe they realize that Republican leadership in this state is very lacking. And with Tom Hodgson being one of the biggest leaders and probably a healthy majority of the leadership here, leaving him in Massachusetts will actually benefit the administration more and benefit that, the local Republican Party.
Sure.
You see a lot of plucking being from, large Republican, strong Republican states. You got Rubio out of Florida, which, by the way, I'm surprised with Rubio that he plucked him out. I thought he would be more of a war hawk. I know he was kind of, or I don't know. I know a lot of people that he's already picked within his inner circle were kind of frowning on Rubio. One of them being Kennedy was kind of frowning on Rubio. Who I guess they were hoping for somebody different. But
remember, Kennedy is a left winger. So.
I agree. No, I was just outside of Kennedy. I've heard other people kind of make the rumblings on. I hope it's not Rubio. I'm hoping it's more of an outsider than an insider, like whoever they were looking at. But the other one is the lady from the governor from I think South Dakota or North Dakota, Nome.
Yeah, Nome.
Kristi Nome. Yeah, she's gonna head up Homeland Security.
I like that, right? If your dog gets out of line, she'll take it out back.
yeah, exactly. So I think and this is for all administrations, they basically pluck from the safest states where they're not going to weaken their party's stature. And by taking Tom Hodgson out of this state, it was significantly weaken the state Republican Party because he's such a big player in it. I think he'd be more apt, like you were saying, in an administrative role or an elected role in the administration here, governor, or even run for
Congress,
state rep or
Congress.
Congress would be fantastic for him.
Right.
To be honest with you, I could see him going toe to toe with Warren, and I can see Deaton taking on Mr. Markey over there because I think out of the two, Deaton would have a better time with Markey because I think Markey's a weaker senator than Warren. To be honest with you,
Warren's got 6 years. Warren's got 6 years. 6 years is a long time to go.
No. I completely agree with you. I'm just saying in regards to who would be more formidable, John Hodgson would great as a senator, as a Senate candidate.
Oh, Tom, thanks for the call, my friend. Tom would be fantastic. And look, we need a Republican U.S. senator. The idea that Massachusetts is going to have 2 U.S. senators, both from the far left of the political spectrum, people who don't want to get to an agreement, right? Liz Warren and Ed Markey are not interested in victories for the state of Massachusetts. They're interested in making political trouble for their opponents, which is not, folks, do you realize that the federal money that we need for major transportation projects is now completely in jeopardy because of who you've elected and their attitudes towards their opponents? These are not people that want to get to the middle for a solution. They just want to fire up their base. It's crazy. But that's who we've elected. 508-996-05. I want to take a quick break. We'll be, if you're on hold, stay there. We'll be right back. 960-500, knock it off, right? 508-996-0500. Good morning. Thanks for holding.
Hey, good morning, Chris.
What's happening, my friend?
Not too much. How about you?
Just doing radio.
Doing radio? Oh, the Mexican one?
No, I'm on the radio. That's all. That's what's happening. So what's happening there?
That's a song. That's a song.
It is a song on the Mexican radio. I know.
Yeah.
I don't want Mexican radio to put me out of business.
Speaking about songs, I think you could play a snippet in honor of Senator Markey of a song. It's by Van Halen. I think you can figure out which one it is.
Help me out. They got a huge catalog.
Didn't he used to drive an ice cream truck?
Oh, he did drive the Ice Cream Man. That's a pretty good song by the Van Halen.
Yeah. That's it. That's all I wanted to say.
Oh, all right.
Ice Cream Man for Senator Markey.
Thank you. 508-996-0500. The Senator Markey, again, look, he is interested in not, they do not want to compromise. These are the hard left. So we have things like, in my listening audience, right? The bridges to Cape Cod, the Bourne and the Sagamore Bridge. Those are going to require incredible amounts of federal money. And I will tell you this, state senators like Mike Rodrigues and Mark Montigny, right? Those guys are liberal Democrats, but they saved up all that money that Governor Healy is spending, right? We have incredible resources here in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. We generate off of our little bit of income tax, right, a tremendous amount of money for the state of Massachusetts. Between our sales tax, our capital gains tax, our income tax, we generate an incredible amount of money. And our representatives and senators had stashed billions of dollars away, right? Billions. And Governor Healy, who had nothing to do with stashing any of that money away, nothing to do with it. She was the Attorney General. She got a budget from the legislature. She had nothing to do with the budgeting of the Commonwealth, right? She has spent that money on her personal political goals to resettle a ton of migrants in Massachusetts. And the money has been spent. So it really is incredible to what this governor has done. And many of you voted for her because on paper, she looked like the logical choice over Jeff Dale. Many people voted for her who normally don't even cross the aisle. So it's up to the Republicans to put up a quality candidate